A few days ago, a client called me and said, I'm working too hard, but I don't know if I can afford to hire an associate. And so we went through the process of evaluation. And I think I may have had a conversation with you at some point about this subject, but I want to revisit it because it was revisited with me. And bottom line, everything I do to analyze my clients' issues sort of comes in an ROI, return on investment context, the cost benefit analysis in economist terminology. And that is, what will you gain if you hire the person? And what will it cost you to hire that person? Well, let's work on the positive side first. What will you gain? If you hire a new associate, you can take a lot of the work burden off of you. Give that new person, whether it be an experienced lawyer or even a new law school graduate just passing the bar exam, the lower elements, if you will, of the work product that you have on your desk. Or another way of saying that, you control the case, you control the strategy, and let them work on the grunt work, the details, the tactics, if you will. Give them specific projects so that you can test their capabilities. Let them prove themselves to you before you turn over full files to them. The other thing that you can do is, now that you've got less work on your desk, is you can begin to market for more work because you have some additional time. Or alternatively, what you can do is focus on the higher end of the practice that you have in your office now. The end there where your expertise is more important. The end there where your strategizing becomes more effective and more apparent to your client, and therefore you can bill more, charge more, perhaps even a premium pricing for it. Now, you're going to have to evaluate how much work your new associate can actually take on. All right? In other words, you want that person, the new associate, to be fully engaged. The point here is that if you can get 30, 40, or 50 billable hours from that person on a weekly basis, now you're getting some good revenue flow. And assuming the quality of the work is appropriate for the work being done and the client being served, you're in seventh heaven with this person, because now you have that revenue stream that you know about, that you can evaluate. Let's look now at the cost side of it. How much did you have to pay this new associate in order to get to that point? Well, you know, just a few months ago, maybe a year ago even, new law school graduates were getting $160,000 by the major law firms. That's no longer true. You know, they're breaking $100,000, sure, maybe even $125,000, but they're no longer making $160,000. And more importantly, for the small firm or the sole practitioner who's looking for a new associate, if you will, the people coming out of the big law firms, and there are a number, more than 5,000 who've actually been laid off in the last year or so. These are good quality lawyers who now are willing to work at prices that perhaps you can afford. Alternatively, there are legal help, or what do I want to say, search firms that are providing lawyers, contract lawyers, and full-time lawyers at relatively modest prices that you can afford. So let's assume you are able to attract one of these lawyers at a modest price, and you're able to bill the work out that they do at a price perhaps not as high as yours, but not discounted by much. And now you have the equivalent of a clone for you, billing your clients for work that needs to be done at a price that will return a profit to you, and at the same time allow you to take the next step in the marketing of your practice to get to the same point again and perhaps engage and hire a second associate. So the key for me here in making that evaluation is A, look at what you can get rid of from your desk. Look at what you can do to free up some time so you're no longer quite under the gun. You're no longer feeling like you're working 7 days a week, 20 hours a day. look at what you can transfer to somebody else and allow yourself more time to do the second thing that lawyers can do and should be doing. And that is, remember, the first is doing the work because only you're legally licensed to do so. But the second is to do the marketing because only you can determine whether you're qualified to handle the matter that comes before you and whether you want to represent this particular client. So now you've got time, hopefully, to do both. Sophisticated work that you're trained to do and only you can do, and the marketing to determine how you can grow your practice even further. Use a cost-benefit analysis, or as I say, the ROI, to determine whether your next hire will make money for you. That's your key. That's your criterion. Thanks for joining us again.